over. And there, now we're live everywhere.
All right, guys, we are so excited to be doing this. I'm John Young. No, wait.
No, wait a second. It's the other way around. I'm the guy who's farming chickens.
Yes.
No. Yes.
No, wait. I'm Arnoldo Offermann.
And I'm John Young with the Disc Jockey News.
Guys, we are so excited. This is actually, I think, a first pretty much anywhere on DJ Kingdom, where we're doing a simultaneous live stream on 2 different channels at the same time. Why are we doing this? To give you, the viewer, options. Also, to find out if it really is my internet that's acting up.
We're trying to break that time-space continuum right now. So what's going to end up happening at some point in time, we're going to be streaming to the different streams, and then we're going to be commenting on the different streams, and then the streams are going to be back. And the next thing you know, like Captain Kirk's going to appear with Scotty, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So a couple of things, guys. As you can see, well, if you're on my channel, I have the chat and everything popping up. If you are on John Young's channel, you should not be seeing me choppy. For some reason, I'm choppy on my channel. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're a little grainy, but I would, assuming that maybe your aftershave was causing problems.
Okay, apparently they couldn't hear John on my channel, so let's see.
Oh no,
that was my fault. That's because I forgot to turn you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
because I forgot to turn you.
There we go. I'm hearing us on this end. So, but that's why we're getting everything, because again, we've got 3 streams. We've got 2 going out on YouTube right now, and we have a 3rd one going out on Facebook Live. So we've got things going on all over. And if we pull out our phones, we could be Instagramming. I mean,
yeah,
Snapchatting.
Okay,
slapping.
Hold on.
Yep, get us all set. So tonight, gang, for those of you, well, Arnoldo's getting things set, and those of you who are watching on our Arnoldo channel, you're going to see my lips moving, and you're not going to hear a thing. But if you're on the Disc Jockey News channel, we've got some watching on Facebook. That we're going to follow the chats in YouTube more than we're going to be able to follow the chats in on the others. Yeah. Yes, Arnoldo forgot to turn John Young on. Thank you for that, Big D's.
Big D's. Okay, Big D's. We're going to do the question the other way around. What's the D stand for?
Yeah, exactly. We're asking you guys questions tonight. This is enough of asking us, because we,
So, okay, for those of you guys.
The first 3-way. Thank you, Matt. First 3-way.
Wow. Yeah, that's how the show went. You see that? All the sponsors are suddenly disappearing.
Exactly.
So, for those of you guys that are not familiar with a Q&A or AMA, this is basically something that I would do impromptu on my channel, where you guys can ask me questions about anything, because I get bombarded with questions all the time, and I would like to answer them for you, but I'm so swamped. So this is a way of trying to get all the questions that I get asked every day or every week, and have you guys ask questions live. And I wanted to bring John in because John's someone very important to the DJ industry. So I figured you guys can ask John questions. You can ask me questions. And we're going to air on both channels at the same time, so you guys can learn a little bit about each individual channel. If you're not already subscribed to the Disc Jockey News, you got to make sure you do that. It is, and I'm not just saying this because John's, right next to me. It really is the best channel when it comes to anything DJ related. I don't care what kind of DJ you are. There's something there for everyone. Just like Finding Dory, kids and adults will both enjoy that, as long as the comment section stay clean. So far, that hasn't happened. So just don't invite your kids. You should know better than that.
Exactly. Because they're going to be like, Daddy, what's a 3-way?
Okay, Big D's, thank you very much for answering that question.
Big Daddy.
So as we answer, get questions settled in and answered and everything, please, guys, those of you in the comment section, we are reading. Ask us questions. So I want to actually start with a question. John, this actually be good for both you and Ed to answer that somebody had asked.
Sure.
This is from Michael. This was sent to me via Facebook. And that is, what do we used to edit gig logs with? John, what's your favorite video editing software?
I started out with Macintosh, so I started out with iMovie and used that for a number of years. But as we've been doing more and more video, iMovie can do a lot of cool things, but you can overload its library very quickly with video. So I finally... reluctantly, I'm going to say, went into using Final Cut Pro of X. My boys who have been using that for a long time, if you guys have seen some of my videos where we have the little Lego things going on at the end, that's my boys made those. They made quite a few of our outros, and I've got some new ones coming up for fall that they've really been putting a lot of cool time and effects into. but they know how to use Final Cut Pro, and if I have a problem or questions, it's like, hey, how do I do this? And all of a sudden, the two of them, here's your 8th grader coming in and saying, hey, this is how you do it. Oh, yay.
I'm on the Final Cut bank myself, camp, but I much prefer 7. I tried X when it first came out, and I just didn't like it. I keep hearing I need to switch to X, and eventually I will. For those of you DJs that don't have Final Cut X is like $300?
Yeah, it was a chunk of change. I don't remember exactly. And part of it, the reason I'm not completely sure is that I went in the fall. If you're a Sam's Club member or even Costco, they run a kind of a private sale in the fall, and we could go and buy the $100 iTunes gift cards for $70. Mm-hmm. So I went and I bought all the money I would need for Final Cut and Motion, and I don't know. The boys gave me 4 different titles, and it was $700 is what I ended up buying worth of cards. But of course, at 70, in essence, 30% off, it was not too bad, for what we needed to do.
And again, if you guys still don't have, hundreds of dollars to plunk down on software, go to Adobe, get the Creative Cloud, because it's like $15 a month or something like that, so you can use the video editing stuff. So you can just use it for, as long as you need to. You can test drive it. If you have somebody that's in college, you can get almost every app that Adobe has for only $15 a month. Yeah. And actually, I like how Creative Cloud works because you could start editing on your computer. It continuously syncs it online, and then you can finish editing on your phone or your iPad. And I thought that was really cool.
Very cool.
So those are 2 professional level solutions you guys can use. Yes, there's cheaper software out there, but I haven't found any cheap video editing software that I've liked.
No, nothing out there. But even you mentioned that with Adobe, my oldest son, who's really the one that gets into that, he's been moving into using Premiere for a couple of things because there's some functionality that he can do with Adobe that he cannot do in the Final Cut world and such. It's truthfully, if we want to really get into a video world, and this sounds weird, the best thing would do for me to bring my 2 boys in at a future show, because they can do things on that, masking and dropping things out and bringing things in and making things float. Right now, the one is making a Marty McFly outro for us, where Marty's going to come flying in on the hoverboard and do his little thing around the DeLorean. And the way he's able to do that it's really, really cool. So, yeah, they know more about it. So, good stuff.
So, let's go back and forth between both chat screens.
Yep, I'm only seeing the one. I got to get the link for the other chat, too.
Okay. Well, DJ Gumby Time asked what direction we went for a photo booth, kiosk, or large. I built our own booth, and we went with a kiosk just because we have a lot of undercutters, and I'm not one of those, not in my backyard, but I'm not about to try to compete with people bringing out a beautiful booth and only charging $500, right? So, we have to charge a little bit above that to be able to make it. So we have different ways that we can outweigh the competition as far as on the service side. But we built our own kiosk for schools. I think it's better. I don't want students in one tight little spot.
Yep.
But now I'm trying to build them even smaller and really focus on portability, getting in and out of there real fast, being able to do extra stuff. We're doing virtual props where we're working with different software. So when you walk in, it's almost like the Snapchat filters. Mm-hmm. We're trying to integrate that into the actual photo booth. What about you, John?
I don't do photo booths because I'm the whole competing with all the guys out there who are doing it for next to nothing. And it just became, I've only got so much time in my day, and I just farmed that out. It's not worth my time right now. I know there's other areas where some people are able to do more, but when we go look at the geographic region, I don't want to travel 2.5 hours anymore to an event. So that means that I'm kind of keeping myself to within 1 hour. And in that hour, there's X number of weddings. And when you divide it all out, it's just, it's not an area where I can be profitable enough. I can sell my talent and I can get a premium price for my talent. I can't get a premium price for a photo booth because they're so similar. And it's really tough to, well, why is this one better than that one? They don't ask that question as much as they say they've seen you perform or they've seen me perform. And people know that, hey, wow, that's different. I've not seen people do that at an event. And it makes us stand out more. So that's, for those of you who have a market where you can work with the photo booth and you have that, kudos to you. It just is a direction. We did it for a little while, and I ended up selling the photo booth out. We had the enclosed one. I got away from that because at the high schools, I just didn't want to have the kids hidden in there doing whatever they might do. I was waiting for one of them to go and do a nipple lick, and it did happen, but it was 2 guys. It was a weird thing. So, yeah.
No, I totally get that. On your side of the chat, John, Mr. J. Funk Sanchez asks, what software do we use for creating DJ samples? I don't create my own samples. As far as drops, I have artists do them, or I buy them from yourdjdrops.com.
Yeah. And you're talking drops, and is he doing like talking redrum samples or something to that effect?
I'm not sure if he's talking about like editing. I'll either use Adobe Audition or even Audacity for free. Heck, even if you pay for Audacity, it is the most powerful software in its class, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or what you can do with Audacity. You know, Adobe Audition is pretty powerful. You know, I mean, beyond that, I don't really make my own samples. I just don't have the time.
Exactly. That becomes a big thing. If you guys are really looking, there's a DJ, DJ Reminisce, and we've got him on the Disc Jockey News channel. I actually did a show with him if you go back and search, but he is into Ableton, and he is really, really well versed, and he does tutorials on how to use Ableton. And that would definitely be someone I would talk or go check out his stuff and kind of look at it, because he's got an Indian background. That's his ethnicity. And he does a lot of Indian weddings, and they're a little bit different than the weddings you get in Minnesota. You don't play polkas at his weddings. It's more of that driving beat dance club feel. So Aman does a lot of cool things. So it's a great program. MJ, I know he has done some things with that. I wouldn't know the first thing beyond how to make it. I could probably start it. That's it.
And if he's talking about like actually making like, you know, your own drum samples, heck, GarageBand, and it's free when you buy your Mac. You can just get a basic keyboard or even do your regular computer keyboard and just start making your own drum beats so you can sample that into your live mixes too.
And I've had to use GarageBand on a few occasions, like, and this used it the most actually when I've been capturing audio from cassette tapes for funerals. It's a weird thing, but I've had people calling and saying, "Hey, Uncle Joe did this cassette and he recorded it years ago. Can you transfer it?" And I've used GarageBand, brought it in, basically captured, brought it in, cleaned it up a little bit, boosted it, and did some things with it. And it turned out that it sounded fabulous. I was really surprised at the functionality and capability of GarageBand.
No, absolutely. It's only gotten even better. Let's go back to my side of the chat here. DJ G-Boy, he's actually, G-Boy is on these streams all the time, so thanks for tuning in. I bought an ETX 18 SP.
Yay.
All right, good choice. I was wondering about the limiting. I have level set to 0, but it still shows pre-temp and the level meters when it's 0 or +1. Is it supposed to do that? I can tell you, I have had this conversation with EV, and I've done the review on the subs. If you want to watch my video, I talk about this. You know, it's not like your traditional speaker, right? If I'm on, let's say, my Yorkville, and the lights are going on, it's saying, you know, the peak light's like, dude, you're peaking, you need to turn it down or your sub's gone. That's it. And it may have some protection, but it's not necessarily going to keep it from blowing. Trust me, because I've destroyed many Yorkvilles. With the EV, it's more preemptive. It's like, hey, bro, we know you're about to peak, so we're going to go ahead and do the corrective measures for you. And John, I know, can chime in a bit more because he's not that far from, you know, Bosch's office or EV's office. But at MobileBeat, when they were doing the Red Food Performance, you know, when they were doing the test, they were pounding the hell out of these things.
Yeah. Yep.
They were purposely driving them. Heck, I drove them on 8 hours straight with all 3 lights on. And that is how good their protection is. I have not destroyed a sub. The only time I destroyed a sub was when one of my idiots dropped it from a truck and the magnet cracked because it was a pretty high drop. But, you know, EV took care of me. EV always takes care of people on that. And I don't want to say it's an unblowable system because you guys are DJs. You'll find a way.
Oh, yeah.
But it really takes a lot of work with this. I mean, they really went above and beyond. But it is scary when you see your temperature or your peak light. It's a lot different. It's preemptive. It's not where, okay, it's peaking. Now I'm going to try to protect the speaker. I'm protecting it before it's too late.
Yeah, and that's a big difference that a lot of people didn't grasp when Mike Dussault was talking about that technology, is that the box is smart. It will protect itself, and it's just going to let you know that, say, okay, it's time for me to protect myself just a little bit. I'm not going to kill it, but I'm going to start to roll off some frequencies, or I'm going to add some kind of limiting factor to it. Yep. So, good stuff.
And this was also speaking with Mike. Remember that currently with technology, there's no way to actually monitor a speaker's temperature the entire time, not without spending a lot more money than the speaker already is. So they use a special algorithm. So you may have just turned on your speaker. You're like, wait a second, why is it saying the temp is on when I just turned it on? it's using the algorithm based on, your outside temperature and how hard you're driving it.
Yep.
But at the same time, and, it knows that you just turned it on. Because of that, if you turn off your sub and then turn it back on, your sub may be warm, but now the computer thinks it's it's cold because you just turned it back on.
Mm-hmm.
So DJs, just kind of keep in mind, don't turn off your system and turn it back on. If you're driving it so hard that it needs to turn down the volume, it's gonna do that, and it'll bring it back up when it knows the sub has cooled down. Don't try to cheat the system, because you will blow your system that way. But the EVs, yes, they're really expensive. Yes, they were made for high-end events. But any mobile DJ, if you're ever worried about blowing your sub, that EV, that's a beast to push.
Yeah.
So good question, G-Boy. Thank you. On the right side, let's see. Matt asks, how many Nintendo shirts I own? Several. Let's go. All right, we'll go right down below that one. Where do you book most of your events? Bridal shows, agents? I don't use agents. Bridal shows are more for top-of-mind awareness. For me, it's Wedding Wire and Google, and of course, word of mouth. I'll go over that in a second. But John, how about you?
In our area, Wedding Wire doesn't really fit us. And as much as I hate to say it, is We DJ was probably the biggest, strongest thing, because it was kind of overlooked in our area, and you can do some things with marketing through We DJ. The other search engines just didn't work as well. We basically, what we came down to is we go to Google, and I want to work in this particular town right here. In our case, it's Alexandria. I can go in there and I will search Alexandria wedding DJ and see what pops up. Obviously, my website pops up fairly high, but there are some search engine, and We DJ was one that pops up very, very high in that market.
Yes.
So I've spent money with them, and they're one of the few online things I would highly recommend you check out. Now, with that being said, doesn't mean it's going to work in every market. There's going to be some markets like mine that work well. You get into like the Minneapolis-St. Paul Metroplex area, you're not going to be as successful because you're competing with dollars from everybody. Everybody wants to try to go into that area, and that's all fine and good. But I also know a couple of DJs who've come from that area, and they go out and they pick a couple of counties in the outstate, and they just market in those counties because they want to do a couple of events in those areas, and they can book a $1,500 to $2,000 wedding as the big shot from the city in the small town, compared to in the city where they're competing with every multi-system company that's charging kind of average rates.
Oh, absolutely. And, I'm kind of glad you brought the whole We DJ and Google up. DJs, as you really work on your website SEO, you're going to get calls from SEO experts.
Oh.
There's no such thing anymore.
Yeah.
No, but, it used to be keywords. Now it's not even keywords. Then it used to be, blogs. Now it's not even that. It is about having content. But if you're a business, Google will know if you're a business. And if you are, let's say, I'm in Winter Haven. If I try and I started labeling my website DJ Orlando DJ, I will not appear in the Orlando listings. Remember that Google has your regular web page, and then they have business listings. I will never appear at the top of another city's business because I'm not in that area.
Yep.
So if you're trying to be the number one all over your entire state, it's not going to happen anymore. Maybe with some organic searches, but nobody looks at organic searches. People are now looking at Google Maps or Google directories or anything like that. That's why I personally like Bing, because Bing is still easy to get on top, and Bing pays you. But if anybody comes up and says, I'm an SEO expert, I can guarantee, no, you cannot. Because by the time that you do get on number one on Google, they're going to change their algorithm. When Panda came up, Panda was Google's way of telling you this to all your search tactics. It really was. We spent a lot of time and money. We got a number one, and then they switched to Panda, and we tanked.
Yep.
Because everything that we did, we got penalized for. My blogs, I got penalized for. It was rough. And why did I get penalized? Oh, because I had my blog here, and I also had it syndicated on another website, and they hated that. So just be very careful with that. As you mentioned, We DJ does pop up a lot. I know Thumbtack, for me, Wedding Wire works, but I think last year we spent $10,000 on Wedding Wire. So that's probably why it works for us. You guys spend a lot of money. As a single app, I know that's not easy for everybody to do. Great question, by the way. Thank you, Dayton.
Arnoldo, I've got a few questions I've been putting coming from the Facebook chat, and if you're on the Facebook chat, we'll try to work that in also as we're covering them. One of the questions I actually moved over from the one chat to make sure we had it. So I'm going to try to keep. Actually, I'll try to put those in the chat here So that way we won't have to go to Facebook. The first one, though, how do I reach more companies for my services? I'm not exactly sure what they're asking about that. If you're in the Facebook chat, I don't remember who put that up there, but give us. Are you talking about for corporate events, or what are you looking for? What type of service? Give us a little bit more on that one. And then this one we can handle. What do you typically charge to DJ do a video show?
Actually, funny enough, somebody just asked that down here too. So, it really depends, because I'm not charging to video mix. If you pay me to DJ, I don't care the medium. If I'm going, let's say, to a club and there's screens there, I'm going to take advantage of it. You're paying me for the talent part. I don't care whether I'm DJing, music or sample, whatever the heck it is, right? Video. But we charge by, if you're wanting video screens, well, you got to pay for the video screens. You need, if you're wanting just music videos, or you wanting live video, or are you wanting us to run a media server with visuals to go to the music? So that can get pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm showing up to DJ and I'm bringing a system and you just want a 7-foot video screen, it's about $300 to bring a 7-foot rear projection screen. You want a 12, 14, 20, 56 foot. Yeah, you're going to pay a lot more for that. So for me, I find it easier. I don't want to say, I charge this much more for doing video. Now, if you are a dedicated DJ where you're, like, for example, Johnny Mencia, he'll sit there and he'll actually edit his own video clips, and he'll drop all sorts of cool stuff in his videos. He puts a lot of work behind that.
Yep.
He definitely charge more for a video show because there's a lot of editing behind the scenes. For me, it's just like if I'm playing any song, I have the music video, bam, I'm going to drop it in. I'm only going to charge for the capital and the technicians to go behind that, because I don't just plug my laptop into a system usually, or a projector. My laptop goes into Arceus. Then I have somebody in there to integrate the live feed or the music videos with the live feed with visuals and all of that. What about you, John?
I've got different screen sizes and different things, and we can, I don't want to say upsell, but depending upon the event, we'll quote different prices. But just to go with a basic, if I'm going to be going into a bar to do videos, if I can plug into their screens, obviously, then I don't have my time. So I might go and do a local bar for $600 for a night. I might go do a small not a graduation party, but like a class reunion where I'm doing 80s videos, and if I have to bring a smaller screen, it might be in the 800 range. If I'm doing one of the weddings, I've got a wedding coming up here in August. We're using 4 different video screens in the room, and just the video side's $2,500 for getting those video screens in. So it really varies depending upon, same as with you there, Arnoldo, on what we're needing for gear, what we're needing for technology and staffing when you're trying to run and put that together.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go to this side back over here. Yep. Anthony asks, how much power do you typically use for your biggest events you do? Have you ever had to use 208 volt 3-phase or 240 for your events with older lights? Older lights. Look, if the light takes that much power, it was finally time to get rid of it for me. I've only had to tap into, I've tapped into 3-phase, but not because I needed to, but because it was there. There is one school that we have where the electrician used to be a master electrician. He actually used to work for the city, dropping, or I guess working on their main power and all that. So he dropped into 3-phase. But get this, John, it's a 3-phase that steps down to single phase. So you have all your, your plugs and connections for a 3-phase, and it's not like a cam lock. I mean, they're just bare wires, they're capped off in the end. And then what they'll do is then they'll have the adapters and all that if you want to do cams or whatnot.
Right.
But if I'm doing I can do a single phase. So I can literally just plug in my single phase transformer. I just wire it in there, and they either have the connectors or I can use temporary connectors for that. And I thought it was really cool. I mean, I've worked with 3-phase before for other events, but I've never had a 3-phase where, the transformer will support single phase too. So that's really nice. And that, of course, that means that I can pull quite a bit of power out of that. Oh, yeah. They said if I ever need more than, my distro's 120 amps. They said if I ever need more than that, then they do have a 3-phase, that I can get several, but I don't need that much. I mean, let's look at the EV system, right? Or Yamahas or any of the modern day speakers. They're not pulling that much power, which still blows my mind. Class D technology has really surpassed. Same thing with LEDs. But I think the biggest show that I've done, and I don't know if you know this, John, I do some big school dances.
Really? This is news to me. Do you use lights too?
Yeah, I do some lights.
Okay,
I had one. I mean, we flooded the entire gym with so much light that we actually had to scale back. We kept our dimmers at 25%, or it was brighter than it was with the gym lights on. I'm like, whoops. Overkill. Measured everything. It was 32 amps for the entire show. Meanwhile, the 4 Alicos took more power. So I'm like, great, I need twice as much power just because of the Alico. So it really has changed quite a bit. Now, because of that, I'm getting rid of the Alicos and doing LED because it isn't, I'm a big fan of use the light till it stops making you money. But once I have to sit there and keep running more cables and buy additional cabling, or have to tell my school, oh, we need more power, it's time for them to go.
Yeah.
LED has really changed more, I think, more than anything in the last 2 years. It really has taken us to new depths.
For sure. I remember the days when we'd be working in some of these smaller schools and we had to run 8 long runs to get on different 20 amp circuits because they didn't have anything larger than that. Now, I think I can run a sound system larger, output-wise, sound quality-wise, and I can run twice the light show that I used to run with the incandescents, with all the different bulbs we had, and I can run it on two circuits. One for the sound, one for the lighting. And we're not struggling at all electric-wise. Crazy.
Yep. And, you can't change the laws of physics, right? You can't, if you have an amp that says 5,000 watts out of a 15 amp circuit, no, it's not happening. But things are getting more efficient. Drivers are getting more efficient. This is on the car audio side of things, but I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was either JBL. Who the hell was? I have to look. Anyways, Crutchfield just did an article on an all digital speaker system. Yeah, it's I gotta exactly look how it works, but everything, including the sound from the amp to the speaker, everything is all digital. So and they say it only takes half the power that you would need, and obviously the sound's clearer. It's trippy. I think Michael Joseph should do one on that for the Rewind Report. But it's the coolest thing.
That would be cool.
So yeah, I mean, as far as my biggest show that I remember as a recent event, I think about 180 amps, and that's only because we had a P Super, we had confetti cannons. I brought in like 6 subs because why the hell not?
They're just sitting there. Let's just add some more.
Sometimes I just get to school and I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna bring stuff because I want to, and they're like, yeah, okay, no problem. So, all right, so let's go now to your side. What's we already did the video thing. What are your thoughts on ADJ AV6? I'm a little bit biased, so I'll go after you, John.
Actually, I need to AV6. I'm not sure which one that is. I need to see it.
The LED panel, or the video panel.
Oh yeah. There we go. I think it's a cool look. I love the way that they've implemented it. For myself, I think, as far as for the effect, compare that to a projector and such for what I'm doing for mobile stuff, it just doesn't seem realistic for what I would do or most mobile shows. I think if a person were going to implement it into your booth and make something really cool with that, or if you were going and having a typical, or your backdrop, and it was going to be something you're going to be using at all of your shows and branding with it, I think it's great. If you're just wanting to get something for doing music videos at your events, you need the flexibility of screens and large screens and smaller screens and different projection things. Now, quality of it, I've been blown away by how good the quality is with that. It's been very, very impressive. So in an install situation, if I were going to be doing a bar and I wanted to have that as a video wall, I would definitely look at that. There are some that are smaller pitched and a little bit more higher resolution. But when you start averaging, or you start figuring dollars and comparing prices and such, the AV6 is definitely a very, very strong competitor when it comes to that arena.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, you're not going to find a LED screen of that quality at like $1,000 map a panel. That's the mind-blowing part. On the technical side of things, guys, for those of you that don't know, LED screens do require a lot of tender, loving care.
Yes.
You drop one of those, it's a sucker. LEDs do go out. Sometimes you can massage them in. But where the AV6 shines is that even for the low price, it's in quadrants. So you can take out a quadrant, mail it in, they'll, repair it, send it back to you, but it's field replaceable. So you're not mailing the entire thing in.
Yep.
As John said, if you're just a mobile DJ, want to keep things simple, this might not be the product for you because, when you're setting up a big screen, you need a lot more people to set it up. It also has a higher ROI because it does cost more as opposed to a projection screen.
Yep.
And I've done seminars about this. Once you're going into that, you're no longer just a DJ. Your whole business plan has to change. You're now entering a production quality or production level. I don't care what size of company you are. The moment you have an LED screen, new opportunities open up for you because now you can rent this out, throughout the year. Even for events that don't normally need a DJ, people need a good screen that you can use outside. Now, it's not IP65 rated, but if, let's say you're doing, there's outdoor bridal shows, right? Or outdoor car shows, and somebody wants to set up a video screen behind a car. You can't do a projection screen in the middle of the day, but you could use this outside. I'm not sure I would use it outside with the sun, Florida sun blaring on it, because the Florida sun's pretty freaking bright. But that's 1200 nits, which is pretty bright to begin with. As a comparison, my laptop screen is like 200 nits. The AV6 is 1200 nits. That's pretty bright. And I'm not just saying this because I do a lot of work with ADJ, because I'm still an independent reviewer. It's a great screen. It really is. And keep in mind, guys, that ADJ, owns Elation. So they're taking some of the experience that they have already, as Elation is a huge pioneer when it comes to LED panels, and really bringing something down to a more affordable level. And you can do some cool stuff with it. I love the DJ facade that they did at DJ Expo. That made me a little jump.
That was cool.
That was very cool. Okay, so Facebook question, John.
Been recording my DJ sets with Serato DJ for years. Can't get the audio to sound crisp.
I just did a video on that. If you're recording your DJ sets, John, I remember you and I had talked about this. Do you remember that cable that you told me about?
That was the Rode?
I can't remember. Well, I know Rode has one, but Amazon now also has one too. Just search iPhone line out cable. So here's what happened, guys. If you're recording, let's say
I don't have one here, because it's an like an SC4 is what it is, and it goes from tip ring sleeve to tip ring sleeve, or the other way around.
Yeah, so what happens is, guys, if you're recording if you plug your mixer straight into your iPhone, it's going to sound like crap, right? And the reason is because the iPhone has a mic level in. So you need something that buffers or changes the impedance of it. So that way it basically turns down the volume. You can't just turn down the volume on your mixer because it's still coming in at mic level. We needed a whole different video on that. When I'm recording with my computer, though, I don't use that cable. I actually use this guy right here. Second. Oh, this is not going to work. There we go. I used the Yamaha AG06. Love this little mixer because it's USB, so I can actually record to my iPad. I can record directly to my computer. I love how this thing works, and that's how I record my live mixes. I know Serato has a recording function. Almost every DJ software does. They all suck. Yeah. I know people record Serato, they do fine with it. I don't like the sound quality out of it. I've heard a lot of mixes. I'm like, doesn't sound quite right. I prefer recording externally, and either I'll record into my computer, or I have just a voice recorder and I record into that, and I use a little index button. So every time that I mix in, I just hit that index button, so it almost breaks it up into tracks for me.
For those of you, the Zoom, not Zoom. I just lost it. You can go and you can search. Audio Technica has a really cool recorder for recording. The one that we use in the I think it's a Zoom recorder.
I think it's a Zoom H4. Don't
there we go. There we go. The H4. Love that little guy. We've used that, and the flexibility, and what's really cool is that if you need to, because you have a low signal coming into it, you can bump it up, and you're not going to get distortion. It's got an amazing amount of headroom on the little guy.
Absolutely. And actually, real quick, let me jump down for a second. Bernard B just jumped in. He does a lot of live streams. For those of you guys that don't know Bernard B, he's a DJ for 95 South. Big guy in the game. Bernard, thanks so much for tuning in. He records his own mixes all the time. He was also asking about that as well. If you're streaming with your phone, which is the big thing right now, the cheapest way, it's a $21 cable on Amazon. Just go out from your mixer. I actually use my booth output. Or you can use your, RCA master output. Just go right into that cable. That cable go into your phone. Done. You're going to get such amazing sound quality that Facebook is going to flag your mixes.
And for those who are wondering how to set the booth out volume, there's an app out there. I mean, there's a few apps that'll give you the idea of how much volume. But I found that the most accurate for doing Facebook Live, because you need to be able to judge the video. Jonathan mentioned just basically previewing it on Facebook Live. Filmic Pro is the app.
Yes,
and
Filmic is awesome.
And what I like about it, I mean, it's great for doing video things, but it'll actually give you the little view meter that'll show you what's going on with it. So if you get a chance, it's Filmic. It's a little icon like that, a little red icon, and now it's up. But you can see that the little bar there is bouncing as it's picking up my audio. So when you're running a wired audio to it, or if I'm running at a show and I'm using an external microphone like the little Rode microphone here, I want to make sure that I have audio from the mic and I have the mic on. That app works so much better than the camera app on the phone. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go back over here. Hold on one second.
For those of you watching out on Facebook Live or on any of the YouTube channels, please ask your questions in the chats. We're able to cover all three of them tonight. And we're bouncing back and forth, trying to hit your questions and such. Lighting, gear, whatever you guys are wanting to know about. That's what we're here for tonight.
Exactly. Okay, so let's go down. My goodness, we've got so much here. Are you planning to do a review? I guess this is Hawaii Events Unlimited was asking me if I'm planning to do a review for the Focus Spot 3Z. Hell yes, I am. I just got word that my order of these moving heads are being shipped, and I'm coming to your house to steal them. I can't wait to get them. John, I believe you've already seen the Focus Spot 3Z, correct?
Yep, we've seen it. I've not gotten to touch it yet, but I've seen it in.
It's great, guys. Yeah. For those who's not familiar with it, it's the new light from ADJ. It's like the InnoSpot Pro on steroids, right at the same price as the InnoSpot Pro. Brighter LED, has a 100-watt power draw. That's why it's a heck of a lot brighter. Well, that's why it has a higher power draw, because it's brighter. Yeah. But you've got two gobo wheels. You've got your separate gobo wheel with indexable, changeable gobos, and then you have a standard gobo wheel. Those are unreplaceable, but what it allows you to do is you can morph gobos. You can use one gobo to create almost like a water effect as you focus back and forth. You've got motorized focus. You have your motorized zoom on there. It's great. There's so much you can do with that light. It's super quiet, super fast, affordable price. I've been playing with it. I got in trouble for trying to put it in my pocket. I should be wearing Jenko jeans, really. I think it's easiest to like that way. But it's awesome. I love it. Okay, so let's see. On your side, my goodness, I think
the next one is resources for stepping up your MC game.
Yes. Actually, how about before we do that?
Oh, did we miss one?
I was going to say, can we do, let's do a quick commercial from one of our...
Which one do you want to hit?
I think people should hear about how awesome the... actually, listen, somebody talked about the EVs. Let's talk about the EVs real quick. Okay. Guys, stay tuned. We'll be with you in just a few. All right, and we're back.
Da-da-da! That is one of our big sponsors of the DJ industry. We're not even going to limit it to what Arnoldo, what you and I do. Electro Voice is a huge sponsor within the DJ industry. They're at the shows. They're creating things. They're supporting the educational content at Mobile Beats or wherever else. A huge fan of Electro Voice just because of the quality of the gear, but also because of their attitude of wanting to give back to the industry and be there and help the DJ industry grow.
Absolutely. And guys, I have to make something very clear. Just because certain people sponsor the shows doesn't mean that we won't be honest about the product or we're talking great about the product because they are a sponsor. If you guys know John and I, we're very blunt about stuff. We love the EVs so much, we use them for our own shows, and that's how much we trust them.
But I mean, truthfully, if you ask me about the EKX12, I'll tell you, I would love to see a second handle on the EKX12. I'm just saying, I love the sound, but one handle is so clumsy when you're trying to do some things. But as it's been explained to me, a second handle would have changed the harmonics of the box, and they rather went size-wise.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it, that little change? But then again, it's kind of like our own heads. If we lose a tooth, it changes our voice completely.
Yeah, it's just, so they're not perfect. I'm going to...
You know what? It's because we got spoiled, I think, from when the ZLXs came out. If you remember, if you picked those up, you could almost swing it into your second hand with just one hand. Do you remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think when people pick up the EKX, they were waiting for that. They're like, oh, no, that's not going to happen.
That just took out my knee. Wow. I didn't know my knee bent that way.
So, okay, so somebody said about good sources for emceeing. So it depends what kind of emceeing you're talking about. If you're talking about school emceeing, go. I got you on video on that. Masterschooldances.com, baby. If you want to hype up like a real MC, I'm not talking like, a polished professional MC. I'm talking like, hip hop club MCing. Yeah. I think it goes without doubt, though. If you're talking about wedding MCing, really doing the 1%, pun intended, Randy Bartlett, hands down. You know what I like about Randy is that don't get me wrong, there's tons of other people, right? You've got Peter Mary, Mark Farrell, but I don't want to say the problem. I think with those, there's a lot of stuff like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. That's not my style. That's not who I am. With Randy Bartlett, it isn't here's how you need to MC it. Okay, here's what you need to think about. Here's what you can apply. And you can still put your own style into what Randy Bartlett teaches you. Like his seminar that he did on the invisible mic. It doesn't matter what kind of MC you are. You're going to take away something from it. And you're going to find a way to apply it to your own way of MC.
For sure.
So what about you, John? What's any good MC resources you've ran into?
Probably going outside of the industry. You mentioned the ones within the industry. I echo your statement there. But I think if you're wanting to become better with a microphone, there's a few things you can do. Some people have talked about taking improv classes. I think the improv is a wonderful thing because it's going to boost your confidence. If you want to do some speaking and you're going to be doing some more elaborate introductions, what have you, Toastmasters is a great and fairly inexpensive thing to get involved with. It's more time than money. The other thing, just to get you more comfortable, and this is something that's very easy and cheap to do. If you have children, is that spend more time reading to them, and not just reading to them this is something actually I've talked about this in other videos, and I'm actually going to do a couple of readings to my kids, but kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about. Because when you're reading to children, you have to be more animated, and you have to bring these books to life. I mean, I guess they have their pictures, but practicing reading through that and reading the Dr. Seuss book and being able to hit all of that the different little things that they have and all the tongue twisters and working your way through that is surprisingly great practice for what we do when we're in front of an audience.
Absolutely. And funny that I know you said improv class, but if, especially for the DJs that think they're hilarious, go to an open mic night. I dare you to stand in front of a bunch of strangers, keep their attention while they're drunk, and tell jokes. To me, there is no harder emceeing out there than a comedian, because they have to be able to get you to clap without saying clap. As DJs, you could get away with saying, hey, give yourselves a round of applause, right? Or, hey, give the bride a good round of applause. Now, we know on the inside you shouldn't say that, but your average person isn't going to judge you for that. But you go to a comedian and it's like, all right, guys, laugh. Like, no, dude. Like, they have to be able to do that. They have to be able to keep your attention and, be able to, like, divert your attention from here to here. So take a comedy class, even one step above improv. Take a full comedy class. Start doing open mic. I think that'll change everything, especially when it comes to emceeing on that. That was some real good out-of-the-box stuff, John.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to a Facebook question, and then on my end, I have like 4 Gobo questions, so I think we should tie all those 4 together.
Yep.
But let's get a Facebook question in.
Okay. Actually, you know what? We're good here on Facebook. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just looking. They were asking about Filmic Pro, the app and such. So I was just going through and answering that. So yeah, we're good. Let's go back to yours.
Filmic is great, especially if you're filming. I mean, if you want to actually film your live streams, Filmic just gives you so many great options. So, okay, so DJ Gumby Time asks if the ADJ icon profile would be capable for school or cafeteria. I did a shootout. Icon profile versus the Icon IR versus the PR1 by Martin and a Source 4 Lico. You're going to be shocked by the results. That profile shot 150 feet. I think it's 150 feet with all the lights on, and you could see it. This is more than gym capable. I am replacing all my Source 4 Juniors with the Icon profile because bang for the buck, there's no better ROI than this light. I'm absolutely astounded about what it can do.
And it's tiny.
It is. It's like, guys, it's like this freaking big. It's ridiculous.
A little bigger than that, but
well, you know what I mean. It's whatever. No. Oh no, because you gotta think the pinpoint gobo is about this size. The Icon profile is a few inches bigger.
Yeah.
But what I really like about the icon profile is you have your zoom, you've got your wide zoom, you've got your focus, you've got DMX capabilities, you can put a transparency, you've got your framing shutters, you have everything that you would get in a normal Source 4 Junior at half the price, and you could put 30 of these things on 120 amp circuit without I think
Crazy.
more than that.
Yeah, crazy number.
And they've got power linking. How great is that?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing an entire wall, you just put 4 of them on one T-bar, and you just get the little 6-inch IC to ICs or 1 foot IC to ICs, and you're done. By all means, Gumby, if you're looking at the icon profile, make sure you check out my review video. I know that John has tons of videos of it being used.
Yep, we talked about it at some different shows and such. So yeah, it's out there.
Yeah. So both our channels, guys, make sure you subscribe. And again, for those of you guys tuning in, find me at Arnoldo Offermann. Find John at Disc Jockey News. And don't you have another YouTube channel?
That's the main one. That's the main one. That's what we're doing. Yep.
Now, Hawaii Events Unlimited, DJ FYD, inside joke. I picked up the Encore profile and had the idea of using it as a follow spot for the grand entrance at a wedding. Yes, it is very much possible. Mm-hmm. I've done that with a regular Source 4 Junior. Heck, I've done it with the icon profile because you have those framing shutters. You can put, different, if you want to get gobos for different size or different, size patterns, if you want to do a real cool wavy pattern somewhere around it, you can. But for, in reality, just a simple, nice wide spot, soften it up a bit. And again, you've got your DMX on it too, so you can change your colors if you wanted to. Have your lighting operator control the colors and intensity. You control where it moves, or you've got that menu in the back where you can change things on the spot. So definitely, it's a great way of doing a follow spot and a lot cheaper, to run and to operate than your traditional 1200 watt follow spot that needed 2 breakers on its own to run.
You mentioned the framing shutters, and that was one of the things that I really liked with that, because we did a wedding with that where we used it as a front light, or basically a floodlight for the head table. But I wanted it so it would be just the exact size of the head table. And you can adjust those framing shutters. It was off center a little bit, so we had to adjust it. So, the framing shutters were actually kind of at an angle in the unit. But when you looked at it on the video, it was a perfectly rectangular lighted area, and that helped it so that people could see the bride and groom's faces. Because that's such a huge problem with weddings, is they've got this beautiful backdrop, and it's got all these cool lights in it, and grandma and grandpa can't see squat because I've got this light back here, and all they're seeing is a shadow.
Yep. The other nice thing with the Encore is you have that warm white LED. Cool white is great. It's visibly brighter to the eye, but when you're using it as a follow spot, you may not want that cool white LED. You may want that traditional warm white.
Yeah.
I've had some brides, they love the cool white. It makes their dress look prettier. A warm white is much more flattering on skin, too.
For sure.
So it's one of those, definitely take a look at both of them, but the Encore is a great light, especially as a follow spot. And then DJ Sergeant P says, I'm using the Easy. We actually have 2 more Gobo questions.
Yep, let's get them on.
I'm using the Easy Gobo, and it says you can create and print your own. Do you special order all your Gobos, or do you create and print your own? John, you go first because I got to find a way to say this nicely. No.
Okay. I'm not a fan of the printing because they're too easy to melt. They don't look as good. When we need gobos, it's giving. There's many gobo companies out there that do a nice job. I've worked with a few of them. The best and easiest one to work with is the crew at NLFX Pro, in my opinion. Is that they take care of it. They can get things. And you've heard the stories, and I've heard the stories of somebody needs something overnight, and they've made it happen. So
absolutely. I personally use Pro Gobo. I love Kat. That's my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Get it, Kat, dog.
Yeah, as you did there.
They know that I've been loyal to Pro Gobo. Yeah, they're both great companies.
Exactly. Yep. There's numerous companies that have done, and I've had Gobos made with a few of them. So.
Yep. You could definitely print your own transparencies. And the bride could have an iPod. It's the same thing. You cannot charge a professional quality price and print something out on a transparency. And for those of you guys that are going to tell me there's no difference, there's absolutely a difference. You can really tell a difference between some crappy transparency and making your own Gobo. Mm-hmm. And if you're saying that $69 for a Gobo is too much, you're not charging enough for a Gobo projection. Guys, I just want to let you know that in Orlando and in Tampa, I've seen PSAV charge as much as $400 for a steel Gobo.
Yep.
Because last minute. So trust me, the money is there. People will go for it. Plus I've given the Gobos to the bride and groom. They love it. They think it's something neat. And I've even had clients say, hey, can I get that gobo? Especially corporate clients. Can I have that gobo?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, here's a transparency.
Yeah, exactly. Another one that we've used is Gobo Man. They're another company, and again, it's really gets to be a point of who's going to be able to turn things around and who you're comfortable working with, because there's a lot of good companies. Granted, I'm sure there's some shady ones out there, but
absolutely,
there's some good folks out there who do a nice job with the Gobos.
Yep. And last gobo question, Michael Janusz. Oh, I know I butchered that name. When speaking of gobo projection, should I go with a dedicated gobo projector or a standard projector? What's the difference? I hate this question. I really do, because I don't like using a projector for a gobo, because a bride sees it and they're like, I could have done this myself. The venue sees it and says, screw that. We have a gobo. We can do this. But then you look at what Michael Anderson is doing with gobo projections, using their actual projectors, like, whoa, mind blowing, right? When you're in a venue that has like a lot of odd walls, and now you got to resize or keystone on the fly, you cannot beat a projector with Archaeas, right? Or if you have a projector with a USB stick, you can save the image from Archaeas and then bring it into your projector. But for me, I still can't get used to that. I mean, I've done it a couple of times, but I can still see, even with a high-end projector, you can still see the artifacts that it is a projector.
Yep.
You'll see that screen door grid or whatnot. For me, I prefer using a gobo projector, because that's, even though the client may not understand what's going on, I don't want to give that perspective that, oh, you can use any projector, because I could be bringing a really expensive projector, but the average venue doesn't know that. There's enough venues not trying to do their own uplighting. I don't need them to try to be doing gobo projections too.
Yeah.
We do gobo projections, but I don't sell them as gobo projections. I call it projector mapping. Big difference. And that's animated. That's doing other stuff. But I charge a lot more for that. Even though it costs less technically to run, I charge more for it, because, now you wanted me to animate stuff. And I got to sit there and keystone and frame it and make it pretty. You're going to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys are wanting to go into that, Michael Anderson's DVDs do all the work for you. I just got them. First of all, his gobo projector, or his projector mount, if you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to be doing a video on it too.
Nice.
They can have a best mount I've ever used. And I have a bunch of them laying around. But the DVD series, John, I don't know if you're familiar with it, the 1% solution that he's done for that.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Even if you don't do the video projections, or with a video projector, there's still a PSDs for a regular gobo projector. It's great. I love it. The DVDs are cheap, and there's like 3 or 4 different DVDs, the tools. There's so many great options. I got to tell you, I was very much against it. I watched the DVDs. I'm like, okay, I can see where he's coming from.
For sure.
So, Michael, great question, because that's one you're never going to get an easy answer to.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over on your side, John.
I think we're down to J Funk Sanchez talking about, do you recommend ADJ Airstream with iPad or a DMX controller? Any DJs by himself?
Tell your prom story, John.
I've become such a huge fan of the ADJ Airstream, the DMX bridge. It's been a fabulous thing, and I can go and I can set up the things, and I can have the lights set the way I want them. I can bounce between things. The biggest problem is when I went to go set up the prom, and I've had this happen to me twice now. When I went to set up my wedding the day before, I forget to bring my iPad with. And if you don't have your iPad that you've got programmed, everything, all of that information stays on the device. So I had all of my lights set up, and I get them all set up, and it's like go digging in my bag for the iPad, and it wasn't there. Since then, I have now set my phone up so it can run the lights too. But when you have it put together and you do it, and I haven't even dug into the full capability of the things, but you can get up and running and control DMX lights very easily with the bridge. If you're a little concerned about getting into DMX, I think it's a great first step. Now, for what Arnoldo does with lights with his shows, that's at a completely different level than what I'm doing with my weddings. I want to be able to have a scene that is the white. I want all of my 5Ps to be doing kind of a whitish pink. I want to have my my Z4s. I want to have them scanning the room with a nice soft white going back and forth, and then I want to have the domes and such all doing white, so you get this really cool slow dance effect, which gives you the feel of that Thinking Out Loud music video from Ed
Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. I've had that's one of the things that is people have been like, oh my God, that's so cool. I love that it made that song was so magical because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so easy to do. And then if I'm done, it's like, okay, you know what? Hey, I want to make a red version. Click, change, click, change, save. Boom. There we go.
Yep.
Now I have a completely new scene based off the old scene, and it was not quite it took a few seconds longer than what I just described to you, but not by much. So.
And for those of you not familiar with the Airstream DMX, it's an app from ADJ. It has the Wi-Fi box, a special Wi-Fi box with a built-in router, and basically you can control your lights easy. If you've never done DMX before, this is so easy. You can do it directly from your iPad. Let me give you guys some insider info. This is not some, I mean, ADJ does an OEM, but this is not some, oh, they bought it from somebody else. This was developed in-house, but the same guy that did the Show Designer series, if you guys are familiar with Show Designers, that's a flagship board for Elation. This is the same guy that designed that wrote the software from scratch. The same guy that did the MIDI-cons too. But he's actually on Facebook on the Airstream group. He's reading all the stuff people want to see in it. And, we're talking within a week, those features are on the software. Nobody else is doing that. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this out loud, but
okay, shh. We'll say it quietly.
We're going to say it anyways. No, I already asked. They said I could. So for those of you guys that do bigger shows, okay, I have the Airstream DMX. And I'm trying to figure out why I'm getting for, some of my smaller shows, why am I having a light tech when the Airstream does a really damn good job? Especially, you can even now have it pre-programmed to, pre-made scenes or to songs if you want to. Yeah. But a couple new things that are coming out with Airstream, which helps people with bigger shows like mine. If you're using a Hog or Grand M or anything like that, there's a thing called SACM, Streaming ACM. It's similar to ArtNet. It's multiple universes of DMX over IP. Right? So if you have a Hog, you can connect to an Ethernet to an SACN bridge, and then you have your universes. Guess what? The newest version, this is still with the standard bridge, but the upcoming software update for bridge is going to allow you to use it as an SACN bridge. So now that means that I can use it on my iPad and control, use the Airstream DMX, but that same box cannot connect to my Hog and work as a universe off a Hog. That's a big deal. And there's going to be support for software that works with ArtNet. ArtNet's a lot trickier because of the way it works, but we're talking if you have CompQ Show, anything that supports ArtNet, it's going to work right away. Also, guys, this is my chicken. This is Pepper. Yeah, Pepper. She has infection on her foot, so we've been cleaning her foot on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Pepper. But yeah, so Airstream Bridge, it's already the most powerful iPad software, I think, the easiest one to use, super powerful. But it's built in-house. The box itself was designed in-house. So go to the Airstream Bridge group. Oh, and the profiles. John, have you made a profile for the Airstream Bridge?
Numerous, because it doesn't take any time at all. What took the longest, truthfully, was to take a picture of the fixture and put the picture in. That's what took the longest. Otherwise, it's quick and... Yeah, I really... The big question I have, and this is something actually, I've got a second one coming. Can you run two of those with two different devices? So I've got my iPad running one, and I have my cell phone, say, running a second one. In the situation where you might want to have, you might want to control your uplights differently than you would want to control your main DJ show.
Well, so there's two answers to that. First, don't forget that Airstream, unlike my DMX, you can stack shows, right? So you can have your iPad or your uplights on one program, and then I use pages for different type pages. My page 1 is my floods, page 2 is my moving lights. So you could do that. But I also have where my iPad has, one set of scenes, my iPhone has another, so I have two pages open at the same time. And yes, you can connect two phones to one Airstream because it works as a router. So you can connect as many devices. I think it's like 150 devices you can hook on one Airstream. But you want to make sure your shows are synced up on all your devices. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to clash because it's sending instructions to the one different, different set of instructions at the same time. Now, right now, and this is direct from Ken, he's the developer. He's trying to do iCloud sync so you can, log in and, take your show from the cloud. But that's proven a lot more difficult because of the way that iOS works. So the easiest way is just, when you connect it to iTunes, you can actually save the folder from iTunes. Well, there's a program called iOS Explorer. I use that. That allows you to extract any file from iOS. So I just take the folders, drop them in, and I sync them up before each show. But yeah, I've got two iPads for the Airstream. I've got my iPhone, and yeah, it's pretty easy to use.
Nice stuff. Good stuff.
So great question, guys. And again, both John and I have tons of videos on the Airstream. I've got a whole series of tutorials on it. There's also the Facebook group. Great software, hardware. Make sure you guys check it out. Anything on Facebook yet, sir?
Just gonna pop over there again. Facebook looks pretty quiet. We've got about a dozen people watching, and it might be, gang, if you're putting questions on Facebook. The last thing I see was when I replied with the Filmic Pro. If you want to go there, I'm going to actually put the live link, put the link for the YouTube video.
Yes.
Because sometimes I can't see what's going on Facebook if Facebook doesn't refresh. And I apologize.
No, Facebook does a terrible job of actually showing you stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to ask questions, pop out to the other. That would be much easier. So
let's scroll up here on my side then.
Yep, that's fine.
Anthony says that when we were talking about the Focus Spot 3Z, that it sounds like we're talking about a Verilight 3000. Look, the 3Z, for what you're getting for the money, there's nothing out there like it, for sure. You give me framing shutters, and I would have been all over that, but that's going to bring up the cost quite a bit. Let's see here. Hawaii Event says he loves EV, but misses Dynacord. John, do you remember this Jockey News, the convention?
Oh, yeah.
2007.
Mystic Lake, we had that.
Oh, God. Dude,
that was incredible. That was incredible.
I remember when you cranked it up because you had, there was also the scrim and stuff in the background and pipe and drape. And I remember a few of us like, no, you've got something behind the pipe and drape. You've got to have something. That Dynacore system was
incredible.
And I can't, we can't say too much, guys, but let's just say that EV has some major announcements coming. If you're not subscribed to the Facebook page, make sure to do that. They dropped, I don't know if you noticed, John, on my last Q&A, they dropped a bombshell. Mike said that they are currently doing R&D for a double ETX 18 ST.
Nice. No, that one, he's given me some other behind the scenes information, but that was...
Yeah. Well, you know which one. I'm sure you're thinking the same product I'm thinking of. Guys, it's gonna be a game changer. What they're gonna show you and the price, it's a game changer.
And for those of you wondering, we'll tell you what it is. It's the EV screwdriver.
Yes.
It can do both blade and standard and Phillips at the same time. It's incredible.
Yep. Actually, you know what? Hold on one second. I remember that Mike showed me a photo. So let me show it to you guys real quick of the product.
Great. Now we're going to get in trouble.
No, I'm just, I just put him to, stream interruption. That was awesome. I'm going to get in trouble for showing that picture, John.
We don't see it on this side yet, but that's okay.
If you guys missed it, make sure that, you
got to pop over to the Arnoldo. And it will be, I was going to say we could get a time on where they could go and see it, but no.
Yeah. Here, actually, I'll show it to you guys right there. There's a new EV Pro. Oh, my phone's dead. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
The stream will start shortly. Is that what you put up there?
Look, I don't want to get too political, but let's just say there's a much better chance that I'm going to get in trouble for leaking EV secrets than leaking national security government. So
yeah, well, unless you're running for president, then no one cares.
See what I did there? Okay. Okay, so let's go down here real quick. Actually, Alex Brown said that when he was talking about the whole MCing thing, that he recommends working as a dance competition announcer. It teaches you loads of stuff and definitely builds your confidence, and the pay is low, but better than spending money. Dance competition announcer, that's actually pretty interesting. Never thought about that. Good suggestion, Alex. Sonito Carnaval asks, DDJ SX2 or the CDJ 2000 Nexus? John, have you used
How far up are you? Gee, there we are.
Yeah, just about halfway up here. I'm flooded.
I see it. This is a tough one, and I think this is going to be an area within the industry that's going to be a big question mark, I think, in the next probably 3 to 5 years, as we have such a turnover. When you've got, and I've had the discussion with Chris Roman, you've got Denon under the same roof as Newmark under the same roof as Rain under the same roof. Then you've got Pioneer, who, ironically, I have not heard many people talking about. Pioneer, was it last fall they were purchased? Mm-hmm. So, and they were purchased by a non-audio company.
Yeah, that was weird.
And the non-audio company has changed some of their passion and desire for the industry. What do I mean by that? Is that it was kind of driven by, I would say it was almost driven by a designer world before that was designing for DJs, and now you've got a corporate entity that isn't coming from the entertainment side as much as the profit-driven side. And how will that change gear that's coming from Pioneer? And in the backroom discussions off record, you're hearing some things being said that that might be saying that, hey, that's going to have an effect. I couldn't tell you. I mean, the last couple of things we've seen from Pioneer have been some really, really nice, solid upgrades to some of their existing machines.
Absolutely. I think it really comes down to, do you want a controller or do you want an independent system? Me personally, I haven't used the SX2, but I've used the SX. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons I never like the CDJs, I feel like every time I use the platter, I feel like it's broken. I feel like there's broken ball bearings. They really fixed that in the 2000 Nexus and the SC. The SX isn't bad either. It's a lot smoother, especially on the 2000 Nexus. If you're doing clubs at 2000, for sure. If just because I like having independent systems. If something breaks, I can just swap one out.
Mm-hmm.
If your SX2 breaks, you're screwed.
Yep.
But I mean, for a controller, the SX2 offers you quite a bit for the money. It's much easier to use. And if you're a mobile DJ, you can just have two of them, and it's much easier to swap out. But if your mixer craps out on you, it doesn't matter whether you have an independent mixer or not, you're screwed either way. And speaking of that, because that's always been the argument, I always have, whether I'm using a controller or a separate mixer, I always have my small Yamaha mixer, because in case my whole controller takes a dump, my iPhone and my mic is plugged in and ready to go on another channel on my actual Yamaha mixer.
Yep.
But as you said, things are going to change dramatically. Controllers are really taking over. You're starting to see controllers in some of the clubs. But the 2000, as far as CDJs go, the 2000 is king when it comes to doing the big clubs and all that.
Yeah.
The mobile events, no one gives a crap, especially when you guys keep putting stuff behind facades. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's see here. DJ G-Boy. Actually, no, on your side. Sorry. We'll go back to mine in a second.
I was going to say, mine, I think the crew has kind of gotten a little quiet over on the side here.
Yeah, guys. Come on, questions. VJ Illusion says, any new ADJ moving heads coming out in the near future with Wi-Fi capabilities? Can't answer that. I only know so much, and what I do know, I can't tell you. John knows a lot too. We can't tell you.
I think the only thing we can say for surely is there's going to be 5 new products that will be released at DJ Expo. Yes.
And I do have to remind you guys that I think the way ADJ thinks is they think long term. They have the InnoSpot Wi-Fi, but it's only $100 more than the regular InnoSpot, which is cheap. But the Wi-Fi is $100. So if it were me, I would rather just buy the regular InnoSpot and then put that $100 towards a separate Wi-Fi unit, because if one thing goes down, I only have to replace that one thing, or it gives me more flexibility. That's just me personally when it comes to moving heads. Now, if it was only a $50 price difference, well, that's obvious, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, we can't tell you too much. But stay tuned. John, you're going to be doing lots of coverage at DJ.
We will be actually. I changed my schedule so I could be there, but probably the coolest part is that we've lined things up that Jose and I are going to be going through all the new products the week before, and these are all going to go live the morning the expo hall opens. You guys are going to see them go live immediately. This will be basically their debut coming to our channel here. So that'll be happening. What is it? The 14th, 15th, something like. I think the exhibit hall opens the 15th. Whatever. It's the Tuesday.
Yeah, someday.
Something in that. And Arnoldo and I will be coming to you then live. If it works out, we're going to try to do some live stream from the show floor, and we'll be covering all the new products and talking about those when they're announced. But if things work out, we should have the big preview right from the headquarters. Yep. First day.
Real quick, I just put on both chats, no more questions. We're going to finish up the questions that we have, because by then it'll be an hour and a half, and I think that's plenty of time.
And we haven't even gotten to talk about the important things in life yet.
Oh, I know, right? Like chickens.
Exactly.
So over on this side, G-Boy. Let me.
Yeah, let's clean up some of them. You've got more questions over there, so let's clean some of those up.
My goodness, how many questions did you ask? Okay, so G-Boy asked. Oh, this is a good one. There's actually 2 really good questions that are going to take a little bit of time, but. Is it better to have multiple system setups or just one good setup for all purposes? John, you're a single op, right?
I'm single, and I have got my small system, which is a Yamaha. I've got my Yamaha, my PAS, the Stage Pass 600, and
Great
I have.
system.
a beautiful system, love it. And then I have the little EV 12-inch sub below that. That combination is probably my favorite quick sound system. 3 speakers, incredible sound. It can handle. I've done graduation parties and I did a tribute party this spring with that, and we had 80 people, filled the room. It's not for 150 to 200 people. Wonderful. Then if I step up, I get into the different size EKX, and I just ordered 2 more of the EKX 18-inch subs because I've got a street dance that we're doing this summer, and I needed to have more bass. So I have multiple systems, and I have things kind of modular, so I can step up and then I can do a single 18, I can stack, and now I can do a double 18. And after doing the double 18, and then I did a couple more things, it's like I think my next step is I'm just going to break down and buy 4 more subs, because having that much sound with the 15-inch top was incredible.
Absolutely
incredible.
For me, I'm a multi-op. I run a production company, so I have tons of different systems. So that's kind of hard for me to answer on that end. So I'm going to keep it on simple. As far as what I use to control my music, I have my turntables. It's a heavy ass coffin. I use it no matter the size of the event because that's my personal branding. When people see that system, I want them to know, hey, I'm the DJ.
Yep.
That's why I don't believe in facades or anything like that personally. I want people to see the gear. I'm a gear junkie. I want my clients to be like, oh, shiny, cool. But I've had some events that are so small, like bubble parties or even, I don't want to say lunch gyms, but I've had small events where I just bring a simple controller. But I believe in having one system that you can mix like a bat out of hell, just be a badass at it and be good at it. And I'm not saying, that I can't mix good on a different system, but I want something that I could mix with my eyes closed,
Yep.
So I just use the same system again and again and again. I know what shape it's in. I know what I'm going to expect out of it. But it never hurts to have a backup either.
And I think that, your bass unit that you're using is got to be the same, because if you're using one controller and performing and honing your skills on that controller, I mean, I have, my controller right now that I'm using that I'll be moving away from right now, but I've got the Denon 6000s. I have 3 of them. I have 2 that go with me, and I have 1 that's basically here in the office as a practice. Somebody had asked a question, not tonight, but they had asked a question, what's the best controller to get? And my answer to them was, whichever one you can afford 2 of. Because I'm a huge fan that I want the same controller in one in a truck and one in a gig. And if the one in a gig craps out, I want to replace it with the exact same thing, because I don't want my show to hurt. Okay, there might be a 5-minute downtime, but I don't want to have to go and say, oh, well, that one little mix that I do that you guys have heard before, I couldn't do it tonight because my controller died. Not acceptable.
Exactly.
Not acceptable.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for those of you guys that say, I can mix on anything, you can't beat muscle memory. And when you're mixing on a system for so long and flip to something else, you're going to reach for a button that wasn't there, and it wants that thing to stop button.
And even
true story.
even the feel of the platters as you're moving through songs and such, it's different from model number to model number within the same company. It's so.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so let's keep going down here, and then we'll go back to your side. I just want to be able to scroll down.
Yeah.
People are just answering G-Boy's question. They're talking back and forth.
Yep.
Somebody had asked, if we prefer playing the entire song or one verse and how we get around, I guess, people complaining and all that. I've talked about this before. I know you have as well.
We talked about it. We talked about this in Vegas when we were together.
Yep. It's all about, and I don't want to go too much into it, but John, if you could post a link in the comments about that so people can see that video. Basically, guys, you have to know the music. If you're playing Jumpman by Drake and you skip Future's part, you're going to get booed, because that's the part people like rapping along to. You got to know the verse of the song. And it's also how you mix too. Let's say you're doing Journey, if I don't see the whole crowd vibing a Journey, I might mix out of Don't Stop Believing early, but I'm not going to mix out right before the chorus because that's what people want to sing.
Yep.
So you really got to know about mixing and phrasing on that. Let me see here real quick. There was a question that, here we go. All this is just comments about, G-Boy's question.
Yep, I've seen a lot of those, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can see that on the live stream, at least on my end. Okay, Hawaii Events Unlimited asked a question that I really want to talk about, John. I know you do too on betting. What is your opinion on In Music buying Rain? If you guys have not heard, In Music, that's Denon, Newmark, Oasis, Ion, just a crap load of brands, they bought Rain. And that was unexpected. Just out of nowhere, we bought Rain.
Yep.
I got a whole rant about this. John, what's your take?
I'm going to go back to NAMM. in the last few years at NAMM, Rane has, I don't want to come out and sound like I'm bashing them, but really I've been disappointed with what they've come out with. They've had nice little, here's a little tweak and here's a little bit, but I mean, there's nothing that's been like I am a company that's hungry and on the cutting edge. It's been, well, we're kind of maintaining. And I after reading the press release about in-music buying, the two that the owners of Rane that sold, I think they're retiring. And I think that is what we saw at NAMM the last couple of years, is that the guys at the top are probably getting to the point where they're tired. They've been there, done that. It's time to move on. So from that standpoint, I think moving in with the in-music companies makes sense. That's the in-music people. They bought Denon. And they haven't, it's not like they've tweaked Denon and brought it down. The MC8000 is a wonderful machine. It's a beast, and that was going from the 6000 was what they had. Now you've jumped up to the 8000, and it is a good forward movement. It's really the Cadillac of the line, like I mentioned earlier today. I think what you're going to see with the Rane is they're going to bring in some of the Rane technology. I don't think, again, talking to Chris Roman, I don't think that they are going to really. They're going to have sharing some of their techs and technology back and forth, but they're going to have their own team that's going to work on it and develop Rane level pieces. The Rane level pieces are probably not going to be at the same level as your intro level Newmark stuff. There's going to be different levels. They're going to have their own little niche and their own market. So I think it's going to be good for Rane because you're getting into a company that is going to be progressive with them and continue to move them forward compared to what they've done the last couple of years. My biggest concern is that, we're going to get down to two companies that own most of the controllers out there. Between InMusic and whoever owns Pioneer, there's not many, there's not many more companies. You've got American Audio is really... who else makes controllers? You've got Gemini.
Yeah, you got Gemini, American Audio. This is my feeling. People are like, oh, well, that means Newmark owns it. Newmark is just a subsection of in-music brands. It's no different than Toyota owning Lexus. You may hate Toyota and drive a Lexus. Well, it's owned by the same parent company. But I don't get the bash on Newmark. I got a CM57 that's 15 years old that still works. Mm-hmm. And I got Pioneer mixers that can't even make it 5 years.
Yep.
I'm looking at you, Pioneer. Suddenly your products don't work and it's El Capitan. No, stop blaming Apple. It's the same damn drivers. Y'all just got lazy. That's just my opinion. But no, and I love Pioneer, but I don't understand, why all the hate on Newmark, because Newmark makes reliable stuff, just like the big brands, Pioneer, Rane. Newmark has made reliable stuff. The NS7, yes, some people had issues with the NS7 and all that, but the NS7 has moving parts. There's going to be problems with moving parts on a brand new type of controller. I personally prefer the NS7 pads to the Pioneer. I hate I love the format of the SZ. I don't like the pads on the SZ compared to the NS7. Why? Because the NS7 too has the Lacey's pads, and you can't beat a Lacey's pads.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. And Music owns a Lacey's, which is a huge and well-known brand. And like you said, what you're going to see a lot more development coming out of the Rane side, because now there's a lot of this behind it. Guys, in music, there's a big brand with a lot of money. And if you want to see products from the brands that you love, like Denon and Rane, because they're getting crushed by Pioneer. Pioneer is owning that club scene. They know what they're doing, and they've really targeted that. So all these other companies, Denon and Rane, nobody's using Rane in the clubs anymore. I can't even tell you why, because Pioneer's making damn good controllers you can use in the club, as we talked about a few minutes ago, right? But y'all need to stop worrying about it, because honestly, if InMusic didn't buy them, Rane might have gone bankrupt or just been no more.
Just dwindled away.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'll be honest with you. I think a controller is going to come out. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to be a typical DJ controller. I think it's going to be a live audio controller. Something that gives you, really clean audio coming out that you can control music, not necessarily to DJ with. I don't know anybody at Rane. That's just the way that I think I would see it if I were in music. Okay, we make these controllers. We've got a company known for high-end mixers. How can we combine both of these? Because that seems to be where the market is going. Yep. I'm excited. I really am. Somebody asked, who are our favorite YouTubers? John, who's your favorite YouTubers?
Gosh, there's a few that I really and they're not in the DJ industry. There's a few that I like to watch. Dude like Hala from Alaska is one that I really I enjoy watching some of his. There's a couple of guys. I'd have to go to my subscriptions to see exactly, but there's a couple of guys that do Star Wars, some Star Wars videos, or they talk Star Wars stuff, and I enjoy watching their videos. In the DJ industry, I'm watching the things that you're doing, and Brian and Jonathan. As you and I talked earlier today, Joe Lott is probably one of the most young man, very talented, very good with his videos. He does a wonderful job with them. He just doesn't. He's busy. He doesn't have time to do as many videos as he wants, but he does a great job with videos. Mikey Mike, he does a nice video. It's just
hey.
Yeah, he's just a busy guy. I mean, he actually has skills and talent. So
yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, Mikey Mike is a rocket scientist.
Truly a rocket scientist. So I mean, why he hangs out with us, I don't.
He is a rocket scientist.
Yeah, why he's hanging out with us is just beyond. So there's a lot of and there's some up and coming guys that are out there starting to do some videos off and on and such, and you'll get to see some of their videos as we share those things and such. So.
For me, I mean, non-DJ, I love Alonzo Larone. He does the dumbest tweets and just online stuff that people should be posting online. Hilarious. I always laugh my butt off with that. DJ industry, Joe Lott, his production value is just like, damn. Like, I know that I can do that if I put my mind and work into it. I don't have the time or dedication.
Yeah.
He does. I admire that. He puts a lot of work. He scripts his videos out. I'm like, damn. I mean, he does a really good job. Guys, check out Joe Lott's videos. John, you're one of my favorite YouTubers. For those of you guys that don't know, Four Schools only exist because of John. The Northern DJ conventions, to this day, John, I tell people, those are the best seminars we've ever been to. You bringing in Michael Port and Brian Flanagan. I'm not a Zig Ziglar fan by any means, but I love Brian Flanagan.
Yeah, he was good.
And then, of course, Dodge. I mean, Brian Dodge was incredible. But Michael Port, who, by the way, is now doing a thing on being a good public speaker. You guys got to check that out. I mean, that pretty much changed the way that I did sales, helped the way the Four Schools only goes. I remember when Adrian and, oh my goodness, I forgot now. Was it Brian? I can't remember. The harmonic mixing.
Adrian.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, those were fantastic seminars. So John, kudos to that. And of course, because of that, eventually I found your YouTube channel. So guys, if you're not familiar with John Young's channel, I know there's a lot of the club DJs that are tuning into my channel. Thanks to Bernard. Make sure you guys check out this Jockey News. A little bit of everything for everybody. Doesn't matter what kind of DJ you are. So good question on that. Let's see here. I think that's it. Somebody mentioned about the Trump Taj Mahal going on strike. John, I think you and I need to do a pre-expo show at some point to really talk about what's going on.
Yeah, that would be a good, because there's a lot of rumors floating around on different aspects of it, not just the Taj and what's going on. So we could definitely talk about that.
The rumors about me being pantless are very true. So
yes, exactly. When he got up a few minutes ago.
Yeah, make sure you guys tune in for that. Ooh, I got chicken sandwiches.
Oh, isn't that just kind of weird?
Pulled pork sandwiches.
That sounds much better. Thank you.
Okay, so real quick on your side,
I think everything's quiet over there. I think.
Well, there's a good question. Do you sell your services a la carte or book everything into package?
Yeah, I missed that one. Dayton had that.
That's a good question. A la carte or packages? What do you do?
I go back and forth on this one, and I say back and forth. It's like a kind of a 3-year cycle. Is I have gone and I've had my a la carte where they could basically go and pick what level of sound system, whatever, and all the way down. And then I have gone with basically package pricing. Okay, package A, package B, package C. Recently, what I have been doing, because I'm not doing as many weddings and I'm doing larger events where I'm doing more customizing. I mentioned the 4 video screens. We're going to be doing an event where we're going to be basically taking over this building that looks like a gymnasium and turning it into a wedding reception hall, which no one has ever done that with this particular venue. I mean, they've had weddings there, but not to the level of what we can do with it. So I've been doing just more custom quotes, and I know that's what we should all that's what we should be doing, but it's just been working out that these couples are looking to do some unique things, and those are the people who are finding me right now. I'm not getting the old yellow page calls type of thing where people were just calling to look for a DJ. There are people who are coming to me because they know that I can do bigger, unusual things.
Exactly. The way that I see it, and I talk about this in my Master School Dances series, is if you have a $3,000 package and a $4,000 school package, the school can't afford your $4,000 package, so they book your $3,000 package, but they actually have $3,500 they could have spent. You just lost them $500.
Yep.
I'm like John. Everything I have is custom, but I will make a package based on your custom stuff.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to put together a proposal.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you're wanting 2 photo booths? Well, that's going to save you a little bit of money because we can do this and this to combine. And my photo booth techs are also setup techs, so now it's going to save you a little bit on labor. So we do make packages based on a lot of custom stuff. But, millennials, everybody wants custom things. Gone are the days where, I want this package. That's done. At least in my area, nobody
I would agree. I would agree completely, is that they all want it to be custom to them, even if it was the exact same components and things as Janie's wedding 2 weeks ago. That's not part of it. It's got to be to make them feel that they are it's personalized for them. It's customized for them. And that means that you have that little booklet, and I put a digital booklet together that basically has the proposal and description of what's going to happen, and then it has the contract in those PDF pages.
Absolutely. So, somebody asked about the new Pioneer. We're almost done, John.
Yeah. We've got about a minute and a half. 3.5 minutes before Facebook is going to dump the feed.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go on YouTube. What do you think of the new Pioneer speakers? Can you explain how much they pack the power into the cabinets? If you guys don't know, Pioneer has speakers out. Don't knock them. A lot of people are like, oh, they need to stick to the controller business. Pioneer also does car audio, and they do damn good car audio.
Have you heard that? Did you get a chance to hear the speakers at Mobile Beat?
They sounded good. I don't want to say I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting good things. It's Pioneer, for crying out loud, but they had a very distinct sound. They were bright, but they weren't harsh to the ears.
I was going to make it was that brightness was there, and that was when you hear so many speakers out there, so that are kind of muddy sounding, slightly almost a muffled sound, because when you start to push them, they get that way. I was really, really happy with the sound of the Pioneer. Now, they're not cheap. They're not your Behringer priced speakers.
They're Pioneer. I mean, Pioneer is Latin for it's expensive.
Yes.
But for good reason. A lot of R&D, a lot of dedication goes into it. As far as packing that much power, watch my video. Just search on YouTube. Watts don't matter, because it doesn't. What matters is SPL output, and we've mentioned this before. John has talked about it. I've talked about it. Things are getting more efficient, way more efficient. I mean, my goodness, I have my little Ultimate Ears Pro boomstick that's louder than a 300-watt speaker from 10 years ago. And you mentioning that there's a company who's coming out with a brand new speaker here in the next couple of weeks that's going to be really getting a lot of airplay. And you go and you check, and you and I have talked about SPL being more important when it comes to judging speakers. I searched for about 45 minutes trying to find an SPL rating, and couldn't find it. Couldn't find anything on it. All it talked about was watts. And it's like, obviously, whoever put that marketing information together wasn't paying attention. Yep. And honestly, guys, the reason manufacturers put watts is because that's what the end user looks at. Stop looking at that so the manufacturer can stop worrying about wattage. Wattage is a power draw, not a unit of measure or a unit measurement for audio. Power draw. That's it. Don't worry about that unless you need to know how many you can plug into one circuit. Okay, so we're almost done here. Let's see here. I think actually that might be it.
Yep. Somebody asked if we could do a show on contracts and such. That's certainly something that can be done at a later time.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably more on your end, because I can do it for you, but I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, I'd love to get Ken Abdo. I don't know if you ever got to. Yeah. Ken is fabulous, and he's basically out of Minneapolis. He's an attorney he's worked with some of the biggest acts in the music industry, and he came from a DJ world. He was a DJ, and he loves the DJ world. So if I could get him on a show, that would be absolutely fabulous.
There's cheese hanging off my chin.
Oh.
That was a comment. It's
I guess I wasn't paying attention.
But yeah, I think it would be a good video. Even, if you got something with also Jeremy too, because he kind of dabbles in both ways. But if Ken can do that, that would be great. Yeah,
there's quite a few. So yeah, we'll definitely put some work into that.
So, do we answer all the questions?
I think we're pretty good. We're pretty good there.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, these shows are usually impromptu because we want you to stay tuned to our channels. If you're not subscribed to Disc Jockey News, John, how do they find you?
They can go to youtube.com/discjockeynews, and that will pop up our page. Ta-da! And you can click subscribe. And once you click subscribe, you will become one of many who are showing their love and support for the DJ industry.
Exactly. And remember, guys, I know that right now you guys are ready to throw money at us. Like, oh man, how can we pay you for this? You don't have to. Yeah, you do. No, remember, don't skip the ads. And when you go to for John's webpage, you're going to see sponsors. Click those ads, check out their products, and let them know that Disc Jockey News sent you. As for me, you can send my money to no.
The address for payments, and please make sure.
Real quick, we'll just G-Boy DJ Equipment Insurance. We'll do a video on that later on because that's its own individual video. Guys, tune in next time. When is it going to be? We don't know. Do you know, John?
I don't know. It's summertime. You and I might be out, chasing. We just don't know. There's so many opportunities.
Yeah. So, guys, really subscribe to the channels. Ask for the notifications. YouTube gives you notifications on your phone. Turn those notifications on for both our channels, and that way you'll know when our stream goes live. You can't miss out. It's usually around this time.
Yeah.
Whenever we feel like it. And what's going on Monday? I heard you have something.
Monday, we're going to be back with our live chats. We took this week off, and Monday night we are going to have. I'm going to give you guys the exact time on this. I want to make sure I've got that. If you go to djntv.com, Disc Jockey News TV, that's where we do most of our live stream shows and such. But you can go there and you can click on the schedule for the summer. And Monday night, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern, we've got Dean Carlson. Then at 9:30 Eastern, Arnoldo's going to be on. We're going to be talking about some school dance performance tips. And then I've got Cubby coming on after Arnoldo. If you guys haven't met Cubby, Cubby is working with DJ Event Planner, but Cubby's one of these guys that is one of the nicest guys you meet, and he's got some incredible ideas when it comes to making money during the week with trivia and different things. And he's a wealth of knowledge, but he's just this really kind of mild-mannered, humble guy. You're surprised when you sit down and you start talking to him how much he knows. And
awesome.
That will be next Monday night, the 11th. So we're looking forward to it.
All right, guys. And if you're watching the replay of this, you'll see both our logos. Just click on that so you can subscribe to the respective channels. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Arnoldo Offermann.
And I'm John Young. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.